It's Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder. Now, 92 KQRS.
It is August the 27th, and on this day, 36 years ago, in 1989, Izzy Stradlin, guitarist of Guns N' Roses, not named Slash, was arrested for peeing on the floor of an airplane after he got into an argument with a flight attendant.
I vaguely remember that.
Oh, it was a big story right there. That was on this very day in 1989.
Wow.
Hey, Pete Lee's on the horn with us right now, joining us on Gorman in the Morning. Pete Lee,
Yeah, buddy.
a very funny gentleman who will be at Acme Comedy next week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Pete Lee, also a man who's been arrested for urinating on the floor of an airplane, or maybe that's just an ugly rumor. Pete, good morning.
Hey guys, I've been arrested, but not for that. How are you?
Well, we're great, thanks. Well, now my interest has been piqued. If you weren't arrested for urinating on an airplane floor, what were you arrested for, if you don't mind my asking?
For real, I was arrested in New York City because I saved a guy's life, and then he got almost knocked out, but I like sand volleyball dove and caught his head, and because before it hit the ground, and then my hand was bleeding, and they thought that I was the one that attacked him.
Oh,
And,
jeez.
Wow.
yeah, dude,
Man,
it was
the
crazy.
hero.
that's what you get for helping out a stranger.
Yeah, it was wild. That was this year. I went to jail for. The cops beat the snot out of me. It was wild, and so and then they also thought that I was dangerous. So I went to jail shackled. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to jail in New York City, and you're bloody. My face is bloody, and I went to jail shackled, and then I'm me. So of course I go into the jail cell. I thought they were going to be scary. But it turns out that I was, because I wanted to, meet everybody. You know, I walked in, I was like, hi, how's it going?
Well,
and they looked at
sure.
me like, oh, my God, that's Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
we're his next meal. And I was the scary one. I thought, because, New York City jail, these are really tough guys. And, but I wound up getting exonerated because there was video footage of me saving the guy and everything like that. But
Wow. There's there's no measure for Pete Lee in a jail. I mean, they might think, that's a tough guy. Like that, they see you and they're like, there's a tough guy.
Pete, I don't know where to go from that. That's the wildest story we've heard in a long time around here.
Yeah.
I love the friendliest guy in the world from Wisconsin walking in covered in his own blood, and of course people running in fear. You just can't make that sort of thing up.
Dude, it was wild. I had a friend go, you should really never tell anybody that you went to jail. And I was like, dude, I'm telling everybody.
Right.
That's the coolest I've ever been. I was like, dude, I went to jail and I had to tow Lululemon. I was like, I need that.
So Pete, as a Wisconsin guy, you grew up in Janesville. I imagine, in your mind as a kid, you probably did think I'm going to grow up. I'm going to go to the big city. I'll be a tough guy, New York City, or maybe not. What was going on in Janesville when you were a kid? What was the thought? What was the dream?
Well, I actually was a competitive show water skier. So, the Twin City River Rats.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on that team in college, and I used to train with them, and then I'd go down and I've won several national show ski titles, which I don't know if you know what show skiing is, but it's tough guy stuff. But then you wear these suits with sequin, and you have to do dances and stuff like that. So, that guy wound up in jail in New York City.
Pete Lee is with us on Gorman in the Morning. In addition to being a great comic, let's see, he's been arrested for saving someone's life. He was a competitive show skier. And then I guess what are you cooking up next? The Lost Art of Alchemy? You're going to turn base metals into gold for your next hobby? What's going on over there?
Yeah, I'm working on becoming Breaking Bad.
Nice.
Steve and Paul, I'm the one who knocks.
Yes.
That's what I am.
That's I like the vibe, but you got to stop laughing when you deliver that line.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a little more impactful if you don't laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I need to laugh just way tougher.
Well, that's true.
Yeah,
Because if you follow it up with a laugh, people think you're crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, which I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I am at this point. But I'm so excited to come back to Minnesota next week. I haven't been back in a while, and Acme was where I came up. Like that's where I started doing stand-up comedy. I went to the University of Minnesota because I didn't get in at any other Big Ten schools.
Sure.
And
Wow.
Ditto.
that's the truth. No, but I'm glad that I went there because, let's say that I would have gone to, a different Big Ten school. Like I don't know what the culture is at Minnesota now. I think it's a little more fun, and our football team is way better than it used to be, and I think it's more of a party school now than it used to be. But like I went there and it was like negative 70 with wind chill, and I actually studied and remember things. So
Wow.
it's great.
Oh,
weird.
I heard about you. Yeah, you're the guy. Yeah.
I'm the one with the degree from there that remembers stuff. Yeah.
So first time ever grabbing that mic and getting up in a room full of people you've never met and trying to make them laugh. That very first time wasn't at Acme, was it?
It was at Acme. Yeah.
Wow.
Very cool.
So,
Man, jumping
so
in the
I
deep
went
end.
to college and I was writing stand-up comedy because my grandmother was a lounge singer and like in Vegas and Los Angeles, and so they had to she would play the piano and then she'd have to tell jokes in between. So when I was a little kid, she's like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "Well, I want to be a comedian." And like normally a parent or a grandparent would go, "Well, you're crazy. There's no money in that."
Mm-hmm.
And my grandma was like, "Oh, well, there's that's a profession," and I kind of did it. And I can teach you how to write a joke. And so I was writing jokes from the time I was like 14. And then I went to the University of Minnesota. My college roommate was like, "You're funny." So he kept writing down the funny things that I said in almost like a journal. And then he gave it to me. And I was like, man, this guy's either the best friend I'll ever have or how I die.
For
That's
sure.
how psychopath. And then I just kept writing. And by junior year, we went down to Acme Comedy Club, and it was Nick Swartzen's last night of living in Minnesota. And
Wow.
he was going to go to New York City the next day to start the big time. And I remember Dave Mordahl, nobody ever hosts the open mic, but Dave Mordahl actually got up and said a word before the thing, and he's like, "Hey guys, it's Nick's last night, and he didn't save any damn money to go to New York City, so we're gonna pass the hat and just get this dummy some money before he gets out there." And so I remember thinking I was like, oh, open mics are where people leave town that you love and you pass the hat for them. And then I was up second, and I remember I killed right away because my grandmother at one point when I was 14 years old, that day that I told her that I wanted to do stand-up comedy, she goes, "All right, well, write me a joke." And then she taught me how to write a joke. Well, of course, I'm not good at it. So I'm just sitting outside trying to write a joke, and she wouldn't let me eat dinner until I wrote the joke. So it was child abuse. And so the joke I finally wrote was, do you guys ever drive with no pants on? I do. I love to drive with no pants on because I never know if people are staring at me because they know, or if it's because I'm driving my moped. And
Why? Nice.
yeah.
Wow.
Still one of my favorite jokes to this day.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was I wrote that when I was 14 when I couldn't even drive a moped. And there was just a moped outside, and I thought that was kind of a funny joke.
Yeah.
And then, that was my opening joke, and it crushed. And I was on second at Acme, and then I the whole set crushed. The funniest line was at a minute 30. I go, okay, so I've done stand up now. Can I go? Because the part that I left out was that we went down for Nick Swartzen's last night, and my roommate signed me up to do stand up. And then, so I didn't know. So when the list came out, I had an hour to gather my jokes that I'd been writing for hours.
Nice.
So
that's a good
roommate.
like
that. Yeah, it was a pretty good. That's like a total guy thing to do. Like anyone else would have been terrified, but guys were like, we made Pete do this thing.
Sure. Pete Lee's with us on Gorman in the Morning. He doesn't always drink beer, but when he does, it's Dos Equis. I'm telling you, man, you're killing me here, Pete.
Yes.
This is fantastic. So I'm going to go back to Janesville for a minute, or Janesville adjacent. You're not far from Alpine Valley. What's the first concert you ever went to?
Oh man, this is gonna bum me out. Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh,
No.
why would that be a bummer?
What not in 1990.
Right? He died that night after flying out.
That
Oh,
was
my
your
God.
first concert. That
Oh.
was on this day in 1990. This is the
Oh,
anniversary of Stevie Ray Vaughan's death.
Yeah, that was.
Wow.
That was.
That's your.
That was your
uh,
first concert. Oh my goodness!
The legend just keeps building and building.
Please
and
tell me.
building.
Please tell me that's also your last concert. I mean,
right.
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
Yeah, I just went to the Ozzy concert over. So actually, yeah, I do have a track record
Man.
of this, but that's a true story. So my best friend is Justin Chancellor in the band Tool,
Okay.
and Justin's British. He kind of talks like Ozzy. He's like, "Hey man, you've been going through it lately." He's like, "Why don't you come over to Ozzy's thing?" And then I essentially got like backstage access. I got access like I was in the band.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
and so like I have a video thing that I posted on Instagram where so I was backstage for like watching from the wings for most of the concert. Well, I would use the VIP porta potty thing. You know when you go to a
Yeah.
fancy wedding and then they have that trailer that has the porta potty.
Sure. Oh yeah.
So I was in England, so I can just say like I was on drugs and I was drunk and not too drunk because I was on drugs, but So I went to the and I'll say that let's say that I was on an edible. Can we say that?
Yes.
We can.
It's legal here, man.
Yeah, things were pretty trippy for me, and I go to the VIP porta potties, and all of the bodyguards were kind of like in a circle, and I was like, "Hey, is something happening? Can I not be here right now?" And they go, "Well, Ozzy's coming," and I go, "Well, I have to pee,"
Ooh.
and the biggest bodyguard comes over and goes, "Dude, I'm a fan of your stand-up comedy." He's from the Midwest, and we
Wow.
take this picture, and he's like all geeked out, and I was like, man, that just made my day to be at this concert, with these celebrities backstage and to have a guy like Jason Momoa was there, and like
Yes.
this guy geeked out over me. And so anyway, so I go in and he's like, "Can you make it quick?" And I was like, "Well, I'm 48 and so is my prostate, and no, I can't."
Yeah.
And so when I'm peeing and like when you're 48 and you're trying to pee, you got to keep the porta potty pretty level, right?
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden the porta potty just gets bumped, and it was by the Bentley that Ozzy's driver was driving,
Okay.
and the guy bumped the porta potty like Ozzy was driving, like that's how weird it was. So then I finish peeing and I go to the top of the steps. Well, the Bentley is blocking the steps, and there's a railing, and I'm looking down like there's no way out of this. Like the only way out of it would have been to open up the door of the Bentley and get in, and then crawl through where they were
Right.
taking Ozzy out.
Right. Well, thank God you were on that edible. I mean, that's making this all that much more comfortable for you.
Yeah, and I thought this was hilarious, and I kind of like wave at the big bodyguard, and I'm like, should I go back in? Like, do I go back in, or what do I do here? And then he goes, no. He's like, just wait. He goes, I got to get Ozzy out of the back seat, and he lifts Ozzy back out of the back seat and into basically like the wheelchair that he was going to be in.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he pulls Ozzy back like 2 feet, almost like he was doing me a favor. And then Ozzy's like, what's going on here? And he goes, there's one of the VIPs is stuck in the porta potty because the car bumped it. And he's like, oh, okay. And he goes, this guy like, imagine explaining to Ozzy that doesn't care he like that he's like, this guy's a comedian. He's like my favorite one. He's from America. And Ozzy's like, well, all right. He doesn't care. And
Sure.
And then this guy goes, lean over the railing. So like the side railing of the stairs. He's like, lean over it. I was like, what? I'm like, what's your plan? And he goes, Titanic, man. And I go, what? And so like I really leaned over the rail. And then he picked. This guy's so huge. Like he's like a man, like a real one.
Yeah.
And he, I don't know if you guys have ever met like a real one. And
Once.
he grabs me by the shoulders, like how you would grab like a little tiny child. And he just picks me up so easily, and then he sets me down maybe 3 feet away from where Ozzy was. And like me meeting Ozzy, Ozzy goes, did he just pick you up like a child? and I'm laughing. I'm going, yeah, he did. But I go, but he just picked you up like a baby. And
Wow.
Ozzy laughed, and he's like, oh, I suppose he did. And then I didn't know what to say to him after that. I just wanted to get out of there because I was high. And I go, yeah. I go, I love you so much, Ozzy. And then I walked away. And and then his concert was amazing. He was only supposed to do one song, and he ended up doing 5. And then he wasn't even supposed to play with Sabbath. It was supposed to be like James Hetfield and Maynard and Steven Tyler and all those guys taking turns, singing with them. And then he came back out and did 8 songs, and we were all crying and arm in arm. And it was just one of the best days of my life.
The upgrade from one song to 8, they call that the Pete Lee bump.
Yeah. That's what they call it now. Yeah.
Yeah. And there were not just because Ozzy's car, there were bumps going on in that porta potty.
Damn straight.
Man, oh man, I'll tell you what. For a guy, Pete Lee, for a guy who has crafted your entire comedy career about being super uncool, you're quite the opposite. My God.
Oh, dude, I guess this is the year that it happened, man. 48, feeling great.
Man, there's still time to get that moped, brother.
That's right.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like this year, it's been wild. I went through a divorce. My house burned down in the Pacific Palisades, and then I got the clip. So I went on Jimmy Fallon the next day, and then I talked about my house burning down, and then it went viral.
Yep.
And 70 million people saw it, and it was wild because, like, if I'm being honest, like we're in entertainment. Like for 70 million views, I would burn my own house down. I would.
Don't say that now.
Spraying a lighter, being like, drop a flame emoji in the comments, you guys.
Fantastic. Pete Lee's at Acme next Thursday, September the 4th, Friday and Saturday. 2 shows on the weekend, 1 on Thursday. We got to bounce real quick. Were you in LA for the fire, or were you out of town?
I was out of town. I was already in New York City when I found out my Tesla messaged me, I'm on fire.
No.
Like, that's how
Are you serious?
Yeah. So one of my friends is a Tesla engineer that lived in my neighborhood, and he taught me how to, because Teslas are fun. And he had me jerry rig the app, and so it messaged me in first person, and it was like, I'm on fire. And I was like, oh my God.
It would have been hipper if it had just played Springsteen's I'm on Fire song instead. You're like, what the hell's happening here? Hey, Pete.
Oh my God, yeah, that sounds like it would be an option.
Pete, thanks so much for taking the time, man. We really appreciate it. 3 nights next week at Acme. Go see Pete Lee. Brother, you're welcome on this show anytime.
Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You got it. See
Thanks,
ya.
man.
All right.
I wasn't kidding. The most interesting man in the world right there. Get him at Dos Equis and just kick back and let him start spinning yarns.
Dude, I've been a fan of his, and, I wouldn't call us, close friends, but an acquaintance for, 12 years. And I had, longer than that, 20 years, and I had no clue of almost anything of what he just said. That was amazing.
That's fantastic. Go see Pete at Acme next Thursday, next Friday, next Saturday.
Gorman in the Morning is also Gorman on the go. Get the 92 KQRS app and stream live or catch the Gorman in the Morning podcast anytime. 92 KQRS.